seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bhoycie bus for another show. You must be sick of the sight of me by now. I'm all over the place here. But yes, it is the Friday night Predictor League. It is a bit of Bookie Bashing. Well, potentially. If you listen to me, it's definitely not Bookie Bashing, as we'll see soon on the league table. But yeah, as you can see as well, Russell is absent tonight. He's had something come up, so I'm stepping into the driving seat again. But once again, I've surrounded myself by another winning team to keep us busy tonight, keep the chat flowing. So let's go round the houses, see everyone's doing. So Liam Collow, not seeing you in the show now. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing not bad, just life, work and new jobs and all that.
As you do, standard,
Yeah,
mate.
aye.
Marc, Cairney, you and I have got to stop meeting like this, mate. Do you come here often? Oh my God.
I try my best not to, mate.
Keep your head below the parapet, mate.
Exactly, I'm doing very well. It's your birthday tomorrow, so I thought I'd give you a wee early birthday present by coming on and giving you a bell to the show.
Thanks a lot, mate. I appreciate it. 37 years young tomorrow. Don't let the grey hair fool you. And David Logue, how are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, man. It's 2 nights in a row. David Logue, he's here for 2 in a row.
Welcome along.
You're doing good, Phil. You're doing all right, mate. You're looking forward to turning another year older, mate.
Aye, just about, man. I've the last 2 years I've not exactly been able to do anything. None of us have been able to do anything over the last 2 years. My birthday obviously falls August the 6th. So yeah, tomorrow I've now decided, obviously after the pandemic, it's like, right, I know, 37 isn't exactly a landmark number, but it's like, you know what? See, after what we've went through in the last couple of years, I'm going to go out and make the most of it. So out for a meal tomorrow with my dad, a few aunties and uncles and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be good, man. And we will get on to the Predictor stuff for the night. Well, first and foremost, again, as I'm the driver tonight, I need to remind everybody to like, share, comment, subscribe, and all the other good stuff. And of course, if you wish to become a member of the channel, then you can indeed do that as well. Now, gents, as we did last week, this was a debut show last week. This was our first time doing it. Myself and Russell, we actually went over the full Scottish Premiership card. So we'll do that for like the first half of the show. We'll have a wee look at what the boss has put on the predictions, and obviously I will shamefully have to look at the scores at the moment because I did not go off to the best of starts. When you have a wee look at that, and obviously we'll end the show. We'll talk about the big game up at Dingwall tomorrow, the main event, the headline match of the weekend, not the Edinburgh Derby. Forget that. Oh no, it's up at Dingwall. But sadly, as me and Marc talked about Tuesday night, not that many people are going to see it. because of all sorts of TV shenanigans. But yeah, that's another story. But I will try now to share my screen. This is always a fun time because, yeah, me and technology don't
Every
get on
time.
too well.
Every time.
mate.
You see, you're closed in all those other tabs, mate.
The thing is, I've literally got this opened, the StreamYard, and I've literally got my Excel spreadsheet open. And when I go into the window, the only thing that's there is the StreamYard. So, okay, let's see if it pops up now. No, Chrome tab, no, entire screen. See, Russell, he's a pro at this, man. Leaves me to do this myself. Right, last week I seemed to be able to jog into action by doing this. And I'll also, when I get it to work, I will zoom in really close because last week, obviously, people were saying, oh, we can't see it. So it will share that, and then I close it, and then it will, hopefully, be there the second time around.
It's going to bring up Phil Hub.
SPFL, there it is. It's the order that I do it in, right? Okay, so tell me if you can see the Excel spreadsheet.
Yes.
I can see it.
Okay, cool. I'm going to zoom in. a bit.
I can see something, aye.
Okay,
This
so
looks like gobbledygook to me, mate. You need to get that a bit bigger, man.
So what I've done at the top is I've put everyone's point score for the week, right, in big bold letters. Now, the one that's in gold is the person who's top of the league, and that is Jonathon Boyce. He's on 9 points. The ones that are in silver are in second place, so that is Liam Collow, you're second. Yeah. Along with, though, you're not there by you've got Johnny, you've got David's dad, Johnny, and you've also got Stephen Thomson sitting in joint second with you. And we've got 2 people in joint third at the moment. We've got Scott Cameron and we've got Chris Kerr. And then from there, it goes down to 6 people on 5, 4, 3. And then, myself and Russell are in red because, we are joint bottom of the league. The 2 guys who did the first show last week. So, again, remember to gamble responsibly, folks, and don't listen to what we're saying to predictions. I think tonight, because what we did at the end of the show last week is we went through my predictions and put them into like an accumulator just to see what the odds would be. I think seeing as Liam is the highest ranked guy here, I think we'll go to Liam's scores tonight when we get to it, and that'll be quite good fun because there's one score in particular that I think we're all going to have a good laugh at. But hey, I really hope it comes in, Liam. I really do, man. So we'll just do. Mate, I think we all do, to be fair, man. But I admire it, mate. And you've just kind of nailed the colours to the mast and just said, I will never ever pick them to win at any point during this whole thing. So fair play to you, mate.
Yes. Bet responsibly, I put £1 on it, but I'm in William Hill for it.
Right, so again, I'll zoom in as big as I can, really. So again, I'll just highlight the game that we're talking about. So we'll just go down the pecking order because Ross County Celtic's the last game alphabetically anyway, so we'll finish on that one. But first up, we'll have Aberdeen v St Mirren. Obviously, last week Aberdeen played us. They looked all right in parts. I mean, Jim Goodwin, there's a lot of, like, compared to what happened to Stephen Glass, I think Jim Goodwin, seems to be a lot of hope from the Aberdeen fans. A lot of people saying that they could upset a few folks, especially after the spending spree that they've had this summer. They've definitely been making the most of the players they brought in, but Marc, you were obviously at the game as well last week. What did you make of Aberdeen in general?
I was pretty impressed with some of the build-up play for the back. I think when there was pressure on Celtic, play a very high press, and it's a very deliberate press. And Aberdeen were finding ways to get over that. You know what I mean? But first few minutes they made a couple of mistakes, and Celtic capitalised on that and ended up winning a few throw-ins from it. But I was quite impressed at their insistence on carrying out the game plan, and I think that's a good position to be in at the start of the season for a club like Aberdeen. And I was quite impressed with them. I think they might be a sneaky bet for top 4 this season. I know Hearts are probably going to take 3rd place, but I wouldn't be surprised if Aberdeen just get back up with where they should be playing, being us in 3rd place. I don't know if you want my prediction just now, or you probably
we'll go through it. We'll go through it once we've everyone's had a wee chat on it. We'll look at everyone's predictions.
Yeah. Well, I'm quite impressed, mate. I think the manager's come in and John Goodman's always been a good manager, mate. He's probably been at clubs where the budget's no kind of matched his ambitions, but Aberdeen might throw a few curveballs this season. I think they've got the ability to play us in midweek and take points. Also, they've got the ability to cause the likes of Aberdeen and Hearts problems. So, Hearts and Rangers problems. So, I think this Aberdeen team potentially is going to make a proper Aberdeen team that we used to see a couple of years back.
I'll quickly bring in Pato's comment here because last week Pato obviously was very adamant about Stevie Welsh first scorer for F81. So he came in with his winning bet. If you want to listen to somebody, although again, folks, gamble responsibly. When the fun stops, stop. But anyway, Pato has came in and said, with Rio out, Tumble could just slot in. Alternatively, Moy or McCarthy could play at CDM with Callum further forward. If that is so, Callum at 22-1 for first goal, 8-1 anytime, and 125 for 1, 2 or more is a stick on. We'll get to that when we get to Ross County Celtic, but there's Pato's top tip of the week, everybody. So read into that one what you will. We've also got Sean the Mac saying Aberdeen for second. He thinks Aberdeen are going to put rivals to second place as well. So
unless he's saying that it's going to be Rangers first and us third, like that Daily Record columnist.
Could be, aye. One of them picked Hearts to finish second, didn't they? And fucking
just a wind up, mate. That's the level of journalism in this country. See if you as a journalist go through journalism training and hit university, and to make yourself relevant in your job that pays you a salary, you have to make up fake opinions to annoy folk and get headlines. I mean, why did you become a journalist in the first place, mate? Because you're totally betraying what you're supposed to be doing, and that's dishing out honest opinion and giving the news to people in a way they can understand. That's just ridiculous. Coming with shit like that, mate.
As bad. It's just short for like clickbait, basically, isn't it? Clickbait and to sell a few newspapers. Just a rotten tactic to go with.
Yeah.
Speaking of rotten tactics, St Mirren last week, they got off to quite a stinker because Motherwell, everyone was thinking after their shocking, absolutely abysmal European result that St Mirren could get after a good start here, but no, they ended up losing 1-0. To Motherwell. It was a penalty kick, I do believe, in the end, but from all accounts, it looks like Motherwell's goalkeeper was kept busy and kept him in the game. But Liam, I'll come to you, mate. Aberdeen and St Mirren. I say we'll just glance over these results. We're not going to go into too much depth on them because it's no the be all and end all but of a weekend. But yeah, how do you think this one will go, Jinka? St Mirren have got any chance at upsetting the former manager up at Pittodrie, or are they just going to be fodder for Aberdeen in that one?
I think they're personally going to be fodder. I don't really think St Mirren's going to be up to much this year. Plus, I've no really. It just seems like it's really a mix of lower league boys from down south and a bit of that old Motherwell sort of. That team that Stevie Robinson had at Motherwell, it just seems like a bit of a fodder for that. So I don't think it's really going to work out for them this year. I think when watching Aberdeen last week against us, they looked like quite a comfortable side. Even though we should be beating that Aberdeen at Parkhead anyway, but they look like no mugs in a sense. To be fair, that they could go on an odd night up in December up in Pittodrie after Christmas, something to take points off us or that mobile full side of Govan. So quite. By the way, I'll no name that team, but
got to respect it, mate. You won't give them any points. This whole thing, you won't even name them for play, man. I respect it, mate. David, as well, regarding the St Mirren and Aberdeen game, St Mirren, obviously, the Stevie Robinson's in charge. I heard a story through the week, and this surprised me. And obviously, Motherwell are managerless at the moment. Apparently, they're also looking at maybe bringing Stevie Robinson back, which is insane. I know he did get them in those cup finals a couple of years ago. But yeah, as Liam just pointed out there, he's basically spending his transfer budget at St Mirren and just bringing back all his 2018 Motherwell players there. So if he goes to Motherwell now, what's he going to do then? Sign them on the January window? Because I heard that story through the week. He's like
I think he's turned St Mirren into the tribute act. I think he's quite happy. Just he's past it now. He's past his glory days that it was Motherwell. So he's now well and truly hitting the smaller venues as the tribute act, and he's signed up all the boys for them. So I can't see that happening. I think that's just your lazy journalism. Yeah, as we seem to see a lot of just now. Like Marc's saying, like people are meant to be getting into journalism to the point of journalism is to give the people the facts, to hit the news with the facts and real opinions, and I don't think we see that with the journalists we have in Scotland. So I can't see that happening. As for St Mirren's chances against Aberdeen, I'm not going to give them much. I think Jim Goodwin's has proven himself. He's a good enough manager. He did well. He was at St Mirren. He knows that club inside out. I think he'll manage to steer Aberdeen to they're probably their first victory of the season. If I'm being honest.
We'll go through who's what scores good. I don't think there's going to be much in the way of away wins here as we go along. So Russell's got 2-0 home, Jono 2-0, David 2-1, me 3-1, Reegan 2-0, Conor McCann 2-1, 3-0 for Terry, Marc Cairney 2-0, Liam Collow 2-1, Danielle 2-0. Not got Dale scores yet. 3-0 from Scott, 2-1 from Liam Greenlaw, 2-0 Conor Carr, 2-1 from Johnny. 3-1 from Ian, 2-1 Marcus. Yeah, it's all home wins all the way. Nobody's even given St Mirren a point in this one at all, so they're even getting a draw out of the game. So yeah, resounding home win there for the Dons, according to the team on the Bhoycie bus. Now, Dundee United, they're quite topical at the moment, given what they did last night. Did anybody happen to catch any of their game?
I did a little bit.
I was really impressed, David. I thought the tempo in which that team played at was really good. You know, I think they get fed by the crowd. The crowd were amazing, I must say. Like the wee tifo before the match, it was quite impressive as well. But one thing that struck me was, as much as I was impressed with Dundee United, mate, I thought the AZ Alkmaar team we played 12 months ago was a far better team than the one I seen last night. And it's not to take away any Dundee United's ability, because that boy Levitt, man, what a player he is. But also, my young brother was saying yesterday he's a raker. He could somebody said that should be looking at him for next season. But also, I know Glenn Middleton scored a goal and it becomes lazy to say he played well, but he fucking did play well. The guy played really well. And I was watching him and I thought Charlie Mulgrew was rolling back the years. I thought he was putting in good challenges as well. The keeper was
Stevie Fletcher won everything. Stevie Fletcher won everything.
Mate, he was like an out ball, but he was also a target man, and he was holding the ball up. He was in the box all the time, and a couple of these shots that went nowhere. But it was just a fucking handful about Giamakis. I was really impressed, and I must admit, I think AZ Alkmaar will probably learn lessons for last night, but and they'll probably go through the tie. But I would not be shocked if Dundee United go to that away game and get a draw, because last night, the way they played last night, I think they would give anybody in Scotland a game, including us.
So you know what makes my father-in-law and brother-in-law, they're Dundee United fans, so they were there last night. I'm not actually managed to speak to them about it yet. I haven't seen them. But when I was watching the game, I fully agree with what you said, Mark, as well. Like they looked like they could have given anybody in the league a game. But what I found really frustrating. I mean, frustrating is not the word. I think almost laughable. I actually messaged my mate who's a big Rangers fan, and I said to him, I was like, why is it that they can get a crowd together for that and put on a performance like that, and that was a spectacle. I really gave Scottish football, you know, a good name. They put on a good show with Scottish football. Why do they not do that for the domestic league? And I know that's probably a ridiculous question, because we do know why, because they're not willing to come and pay the money to come and see their team maybe not put on a game, a performance like that. But when you see that, like that, what a crowd like that can do for a team like Dundee United, who wasn't expected to get a result last night, if they did that more often, the Scottish game, and not just them, other teams as well, like the Scottish game would really build the profile of the Scottish game. And I know it's difficult with the cost of ticket prices, which could be looked at. There needs to be ways to get these lesser, smaller clubs, what we want to call them, like to have more of an attendance, to put on a bit more of a spectacle. Obviously, that would in turn mean that we would lose some of the allocation of the away grounds, and obviously we don't want that, obviously. However, just from a spectacle point of view, if we want the game to progress and get a better deal from the likes of Sky or BT or whoever it is, you know, these are the kind of things that you kind of want to see happening, and building a profile for the Scottish game and making it more interesting, making less people talk down about the Scottish game, because that was a really, really good advert for Scottish football last night, and it wasn't from either side of Glasgow, so I was quite impressed with that.
I know this guy isn't everyone's cup of tea on YouTube. I know a lot of fans despise him, but there is that English vlogger, Footy Adventures, who goes around all sorts of Scottish grounds. He went to Tannadice last night. It actually looked incredible, like the march to the stadium with thousands of fans. But David, when you're talking about numbers there, I heard this like on Twitter the day. Apparently, the tickets for last night were £26. Dundee United's first game in Europe in God knows how long. Their game against Livingston at the weekend is £28 for a ticket.
Ridiculous. Who's going to go watch Dundee United play Livingston for £28?
I was like, come on, man.
Well, this is it. I'll give you the answer, David. 3,000 people. And that's why you're getting 3,000 people. There's probably about 8 to 10,000 there last night. Seen the early 2000s and the late 90s. The standard of football in the Scottish League was better than what it is just now, but Kilmarnock were getting 7,000-8,000 at a match. Dundee United was rarely empty. Dundee United were used to be 70-80% full. You know, I mean, maybe midweek games, but that stand behind the goal to
the shed.
That's always packed, mate. That used to be always packed. Now it's you see patches all over the place. I've got two theories on it. I think one is the pricing. Obviously, that's a big factor, but also I think there's a real distaste for the likes of Celtic and Rangers, not just because we come and beat them, but we overtake their city, we overtake the stadium, and you know, and they almost feel like their home team, that their own club kind of bends over backwards to accommodate these away fans that take over the place. And that was probably the biggest factor in the clubs like Kilmarnock and Motherwell, Hibs, latterly, Aberdeen and Hearts cutting down the allocations so much. It was a bit like fan pressure, but they also had to make it be known to their fans that they were fighting for them and they were in their corner, because it can't be good. I mean, Celtic are a big, massive club, but there's bigger clubs out there. See, if I went to a home Celtic match and we were playing, I'll just pick out Real Madrid, and we were giving up 60% of our home support stadium to the away club. See, after a short period of time, me watching that, I would feel a disgust to go and see and watch my team play against these teams, and it just breeds that into you where you're just no interested in. Oh, you happy to see them, watch them beat them, but I think it's just that there's a bit of a sour taste in the moves to some of these supporters in Scotland, that we just come, we overtake the city, overtake the stadium, you know, and 9 out of 10 we win. We don't know, they just don't like it, mate. You know what I mean? And that's even before you talk about the standards of their home team.
Yeah,
that's before you even go into that. I mean,
they need to be able to get the balance, mate. Or they need to get a balance. Sorry to interrupt, but they need to get a balance of saying, look, we're willing to cut Celtic and Rangers allocations to these games, but we need you to also do your part and come. But the only way they're going to be able to trust that the fans are willing to come is if they figure out a pricing structure that's going to be suitable. Or else, there's no point in cutting allocations. Say, right, we've cut the allocations for the Celtic Rangers fans because we don't want them taking over City. We want to give our team the best opportunity to beat the likes of Celtic and Rangers, but we need you guys to be coming. But just because they've cut the allocation that the Celtic fans and Rangers fans were willing to pay for, that doesn't mean that the Dundee United fans or the Livy fans or the Motherwell fans have the coin there to fork out £28 to watch their team play against a team that they're maybe less likely to beat. So there has to be a balance that they have to work out.
It's just spot. I mean, there's no point in taking 2,000 seats away for the away support without backing it up by bringing your home support in for cheaper prices. But do you know something? Like, I think the ticket pricing in Scotland is a bigger issue than it is in England. I mean, England supporters get ripped off left, right, and centre. See if you actually broke it down. See, paying £40 to see guys like Ronaldo and guys like Haaland that play.
Yeah.
Is that really obnoxious? No, that's not obnoxious. Is that really outrageous when we're paying £30 to go and see Johnny Hayes miss an open goal against Celtic? Really? I don't think it is, mate. And I think into Scotland never speculate to accumulate, right? In Scottish football, and see until we get to a stage where there's a parity between the goods on the park and the product on the park and the pricing of these things, there's always going to be a bit of a sour taste when it comes to selling these tickets to the casual Saturday fan that's going to turn up, because I'm not going to be interested in paying £30, £31, £32. I mean, £28 to go and watch Dundee United Livingston. Come on, to fuck. If that was a Scottish Cup semi-final, I think they would struggle to sell that.
They would. Liam, I believe that last season Dundee United, obviously they became the latest to cut our allocation. St Mirren have done it, and as the boys say there, like I'm in the same boat as them, and I imagine you are as well. It's all well and good cutting it, but I get so frustrated when we go and play these teams and you see all the empty seats, and you're just like, fuck's sake, guys. But as Charles Smith said here, 20's plenty. £20 that fills your stands up, isn't it? That's the slogan goes. 20's plenty.
Yep. Yeah, and you can make your money elsewhere. You make your money elsewhere. You get the fans in the stadium, and you see the ridiculous prices on pies and juice and your kits. Your tops and stuff. That's where you make the money back when you cut the allocation. You can't sell things like that if there's nobody in the stand to buy them.
No.
Well, hopefully Ryan hasn't offended Liam Collow. Who's the team you're associated with, Liam, again?
It's Arfley, but the term juniors is D-Date.
Right, okay, I was going to say £20 to watch Livingston. Fuck's sake, I would rather watch the juniors. I was about to say, Liam Collow, he's associated with Arfley. Be careful. Don't offend him.
To be fair, the juniors is D, now to be fair.
I was having the Cup final, always on the STV.
Well, you just stand in the railway station and watch Arfley play for nothing.
There's a few I can do that as well.
To be honest with you, that's the only time you see 30 folk waiting for a ghost train when they're playing. Folks just stand there and watch the match.
Well, let's have a wee glance through. So Dundee United say they're on a high after the European excursion, so you've got to imagine momentum's with them, but of course they are playing the very tricky Livingston, who I know people say, well, the home Livingston can be a bit of a one-trick pony, and away from home, though, they are capable of getting results from it there, but I've got to imagine with Dundee United, after that result, they've got to come out the traps flying. So let's go through and see what the team have said. So
I reckon they'll have that high. Do you like we having that higher beating easy at Alma? I reckon they'll have that big spike down the way, but I don't think they'll lose it. But I don't think they'll win it either.
You think they'll have a bit of a hangover then, Liam?
Yeah, but
a European hangover.
European hangover. Classic. That's one of those sort of book of cliches, a big football book of cliches. A European hangover always seems to affect teams in Scotland and England when it's like a Thursday, Sunday thing. But if it's like if you played on the Wednesday night and play on a Saturday, you don't get a European hangover, and it's like it's the same distance
days.
apart.
It's the same difference.
Yes, weird. Same but different. There you go. Same but different.
That's it, my man. Gonna get that t-shirt.
So Russell has gone for 2-1. Jonathan's gone for 2-1. David, you've gone 2-0. I've gone 1-0. Reegan has picked a Livingston victory. Oh, he's went against the grain. Conor McCann's got a Desmond 2-2. Terry a 3-0 home. Marc Cairney 2-1 at home. William, as you said, a 1-1 draw. Danielle's a 2-1 home. Scott Cameron's gone 2-1 to Livy, 1-2. Liam Greenlaw 2-1. Conor Carr 2-0. Christopher don't get his yet. Johnny Logue's gone 1-1. Ian's got a 1-1. 3-2. Oh, look at Marc Spowart with a 3-2. Oh, 5 goals, a wee thriller. Livingston involved in a 5-goal thriller. What?
That's your 28 quid worth right there, mate.
That is your 28 quid worth. We have now justified £28 for Dundee United and Livingston. There you go. And Stephen Thomson's got a 2-2 engagement there as well. There we go. So majority home win, the occasional away win, a few draws sprinkled in there. Now this one took me by surprise in the old fixture list, because I was like, wait a minute, Edinburgh Derby 2 weeks into the season, have 3 Hearts. But yeah, I've always found the Edinburgh Derbies in the last few years, I feel like there's been a lot of 0-0s, a really lot of drab games. Now this one's Easter Road, and by the way, I need to just say this to any of the Bhoycie Bus team that are watching. A lot of you sent me your scores where you put Hearts as the home team and Hibs as the away team. So just be careful that I've not put the score in the wrong way. They were sending me like Hearts v Hibs, so I'll just put it, okay, if you put Hearts as the home team, then I'm going to put that against them on the... So some might be mixed up. Hopefully they're not. But yeah, I did notice that when it was coming in, because everyone else, when you were sending me your predictions, you said the home teams and away teams around the right way, but loads of you put Hearts and then Hibs is the away team. I was like,
do you know why that is, Phil?
Fuck them. Fuck them. That's
Why
it.
is
Too
that?
bad.
It's because
Dog eat dog, mate.
it runs pod eat pod. It runs off the tongue.
Ah,
Hibs.
right.
Yeah.
That's at Hearts and Hibs. Aye.
Aye.
So it is. Aye. Hibs and Hearts sounds a bit.
Aye.
Aye.
It's
It
like,
does.
it's like Celtic Rangers, to be fair.
See if
Yeah.
somebody says Rangers v Celtic. There's two things that you can take out of that.
Mhm.
One, right, the correct way to say that is always whatever's first in the alphabet. So C's before R. So it's Celtic v Rangers. If you're writing it down in a letter
Mhm.
or the news, it's always Celtic v Rangers, unless you're talking about the fixture itself, as in like a match day. So you can always spot a Rangers fan in the news in the papers if they put Rangers v Celtic. That's the second thing, you know what I mean? So if see the journalists have obviously got a degree in journalism and English and all the rest of it. So the correct way you write that would be Celtic v Rangers, because C's before R.
Right. Okay.
Right? So see if you see them, and let's talk about a specific fixture. Like just say for instance in December it's going to January it's going to be Rangers v Celtic. That would be the correct way to write that. But if someone just mentioned the Glasgow Derby and says, "Oh yeah, the Celtic Rangers match," that's how you would say it. That's how you would write it. So
okay.
if I say Rangers v Celtic, I'm pretty sure they would more likely to be a Rangers fan, mate.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
That's me living in a paranoid world, man. Every cunt's against me, so don't worry about that. But that's what I think. Hearts are the away team. It's Hibs v Hearts, you're right. That's just to answer that stupid question that I carried on for 5 minutes there about.
Sorry, don't worry.
Educational, mate.
As Gary
Oh,
Brown
I know,
said,
mate.
though, Hibs and Hearts derby always close. I say, for some reason in my mind, I just feel like there's been a lot of 0-0s in recent years. Now, time I have actually tuned in to watch these games because you expect it's going to be pure blood and thunder, like a real intense game. It's usually a bit of a shanner. I've got to be honest. I can't remember the last game I watched.
It's a bloody pillow fight, mate. It's a pillow fight.
It's a pillow fight. It is indeed. But yeah, obviously at the start of the season there, a lot of people were tipping Hibs to be in big trouble, but they got off to a winning start last week. They beat St Johnstone with a late goal. But yeah, this manager that Hibs have brought in, I don't think many people are giving him much approval. I certainly didn't last week. I was like, this guy Lee Johnson, he ain't gonna last. He ain't gonna last at all. So but as he got off to a winning start, but yeah, this is a big test for him right away. So I don't think Hibs have got I think Hearts have obviously got the sort of the pendulum swung mostly their way in recent derbies. And looking at some of the scores that you've put in, yeah, there seems to be a favouritism towards the Jambos here. But Liam, I'll come to you first, mate. What do you think for the old Edinburgh derby, mate, Ulrike?
Dude, I honestly think Hearts have probably got the stronger squad, but Joe, if you base on like past 5 to 10 years, that way Hearts have that way Hibs can absolutely dominate them. It's like Celtic playing the old Rangers back in the 90s. We would dominate them for 89 minutes, and they would get a 90th minute winner. Do that way out of bombing nowhere. You're like, I feel like it's so that way. I think Hearts have just always got bombing has the number now, and I don't see it changing tomorrow.
It's mad to think as well. I saw a clip on Twitter earlier on. It was the SPFL page posted it. And again, this is a madness of Scottish football. So after the Glasgow derby, obviously the Edinburgh derby is like the second biggest fixture in Scottish football. And a few years ago, that was in the second tier because it was a goal that guy Ozturk scored, the centre back at Easter Road, and he absolutely lashes it for about 30 yards, and it pings off the crossbar on the way in. And I was like, fuck, I remember that goal now. And then it was in Hibs had like an all dark green shirt instead of having the white sleeves. And that was a year that they and Hearts were both in the second tier. I'm like, only in Scottish football can shit like this happen where the second biggest fixture is a second tier fixture.
Was that the same year
On you go, Liam, sorry.
Was that the same year Rangers were in the championship as well?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was quite a competitive,
crazy,
league that year, wasn't it? Because it was a couple. Who else was in that league that year? There was someone else.
Hearts, Hibs, and Rangers were in it, and
Dundee was sure. I think Dundee were up there as well.
Aye, one of the Dundee teams.
It was quite mad to think back, and obviously you had
it'll be Dundee because United were in the top flight with us because we played them so many times. That was Ronnie's first season. We played Dundee United like in the cup and a replay and the League Cup final, and we had four league fixtures against them.
4 times in like 14, 15. There was a wee mini bit of animosity at that time.
Shifty.
I think
who
was the guy with a square jaw to play for? It looked like Quagmire. The guy with Peyton, No.
Kane, is that the one that Zaluska squared up to in Ashton Lane?
Well, he smacked, I think it was Gary Mackay-Steven down at the byline, and a cracker, and I think Celtic players all got involved. Maybe Zaluska got involved, I don't know, but and that was the home match. But the previous match, I think, was a one each draw at Tannadice, and but it just sparked this wee kind of mini hatred for each other for lasted 2 weeks. I like Dundee United. I mean, they were called Dundee Celtic right up to the 40s. Actually, that was their original name, Dundee Celtic, and they changed it.
Was it Dundee Hibernian?
I was going to say Dundee Hibernian.
Was it Hibernian? Was it Dundee Hibernian? So,
we were supposed to be called Glasgow Hibernian originally, and
that's it was Dundee Hibernian. That's right, and I'm sure they played in green strips at one point as well. I know they've got a away strip that's green, but I think their home strip may have been green at one point. I'm not sure, but Dundee Hibernian. So that's exactly. I know Dundee Celtic. I beg your pardon. But that's right, because there's a wee mini like 2 weeks or something they played them. I think it was 4 times. Like one in the league that got postponed, a replay in the cup, and then the original league game.
Yep.
So that was it. I won every match apart from the one we drew for the replay we played.
Did Shifty and Scott Brown not get into a tussle? Because you said about Peyton, I'm sure that Shifty kicked Brown in the head or something like that when he was down on the ground.
Possibly, mate. And
was that in the cup game?
I think it was. Actually went to a replay. Aye.
I think Peyton was really much involved at that time because he either hit somebody or he hit Gary Mackay-Steven. That's in my mind. Something happened involving him that he was the one that Celtic fans were really they couldn't stand to look at him. You know what I mean? And for that wee short period, and I remember his big square jaw. I was like, I seen a post. I seen a post that was like, when folks say to you, be there or be square, but you don't turn up. And it was just a photo of his big square jaw. You know what I mean? And I always giggled when I think about that. You know what I mean? I didn't even know what you even asked there. I mean, I just
to put that connection back to the juniors, Paul Payton's playing for Glenafton, who's playing against Arfley tomorrow. Just like that in there.
Okay.
That's a start, mate.
I need to bring this one up quickly because I know that I can answer this with a resounding answer. So Scott Cameron has asked, and I know that Marc used to talk about this on Twitter. Hibs are trying to get Martin Boyle back. Do you think Celtic should try and get in there before them, Phil? No, they should not. He does not in any way improve our team. He would just be in the same position that James Forrest is right now, as like 4th choice winger. Definitely not. But yeah, Marc, I saw
we're trying to get Mickey Johnson out on loan.
Exactly. He'd just be the new Mike Johnson.
Yeah, speaking of bald Aussie Mickey Johnson.
if you're going to try and improve a team with a level of Celtic, with players that are only performing at a very high standard for a team that didn't finish high in a good position last season, and you're asking for trouble, that's what happened when Roy Dyler started bringing in Nadir Chifchi, Mackay-Steven, who I just mentioned. Players like that, that is just not going to work. If we're not shortening markets that's going to be improving our squad, our starting 11, then I'm not interested. If Celtic want to go into Aberdeen and start plucking players out for the B team, I'm all for it. But see Celtic want to start and get in paying boys like 8, 9, 10 grand a week to come in and just absolutely do fuck all, and I am not for it. Aaron Moyes came in, and I've said my piece on that guy, but it's transfers like that and like James McCarthy that are really irking me just now, and the thought of Martin Boyle being in a Celtic shirt would just be. What
are we basing that off of? What are we basing that?
Is Australian, mate?
Australian who scored a hat-trick against Rangers last season.
That's all. That's what his CV would say if for Ange to look at. He's Aussie, mate, so you can go for a Foster's with him, and he scored 3 goals against our rivals. That would be on his CV for me.
I tell you something. See, within half an hour of him signing, there would be 4 Australian journalists queuing up to go into podcasts and Sky Sports News to tell us how good this guy was. And tell us that Fulham tried to sign him last season on the quiet, but it just didn't happen.
Aye.
Something stupid like that, you know what I mean? And the Celtic fans would laugh it up.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would indeed. So, no, I'm going to be too keen on Boyle. I hear the rumours. Hibs is his level. Because if he comes to us, he's going to just basically stifle his career. Because he'll just sit in the bench and sit in the stands for most games. So, no, I think we should be steering clear. There's other positions we should be prioritising right now. But we'll quickly go through the Hearts and Hibs predictions from the team. Could be a wee bit of a mixed bag here, though. Looking right away, there's a lot of love for the Jambos, it seems. Ooh, boo. So we've got a 3-0 win. Russell saying that Hearts are going to go to Easter Road and beat them 3-0. 0-1 for Jonathon. 1-2 David. A 1 each draw for myself. Reegan's got a 3-1 win for the Jambos. A 0-0 draw. Oh, no. Conor McCann, a dull 0-0. Terry's got 1-1. Marc Cairney, 3-1 to the Jambos. Liam Collow, you said 2-0 to the Jambos. Danielle, it's a 2-1 win for Hearts as well. Dale scores a no-in. Scott, 2-1 for Hearts. Liam, 2-0 for Hearts. Conor Carr, 2-0 for Hearts. Nobody showing any love for Hibs at all here. Johnny Logue gets 1 apiece. Ian, 0-3. Oh, Marc Spowart says the Hibs are going to win. There we go. Or maybe he got the score round the wrong way. Maybe he sent me the wrong way and I've entered it the wrong way. And we've got 2-1 from Stephen for Hearts. So, yeah, 1 Hibs win out of there. Ouch. Not looking good for the old Hibees. Okay, we'll move on to probably, I would say, maybe the most unappealing game of the entire weekend. We've got Motherwell against St Johnstone. I imagine this will be pretty quick, guys. But yeah, Motherwell's manager search goes on. But they did get off to a winning start last week. And then last week, me and Russell spoke about the manager spot, and a few names are thrown out in the chat. Apparently Duncan Ferguson's name was also linked to them, and then there was a suggestion as well. I think it may have been Kaiser said it in the chat. What about somebody like Sean Maloney for Motherwell? So that's really the only real talking point of this game. Who would be a good fit in Motherwell? David, what about you first? We'll come to you first, mate.
I like their is he the chairman? What is he? The boy? He's on Twitter a lot.
Alan Burrows. Yeah.
Aye. He seems quite progressive thinking. I think he would. I think Sean Maloney would be a good fit for him. It's just annoying. Maybe not annoying is not the word. Maybe frustrating for Maloney if he did get the job. That it's another team he's going in without a pre-season, without getting to really make his mark. But I think Alan Burrows would be much less likely to pull the trigger on getting rid of him if it wasn't clicking right away. If you're going to get a guy like Sean, if you're going to bring in a guy like Sean Maloney, you've got to invest the time and allow him to get his structure, to get his team playing the way he wants them to play. Hibs didn't give him that. I still think it's a bizarre thing to do to bring in a manager like him and not even allow him a pre-season. I think Motherwell would be a good fit for him to build a project. They have to be willing to let him do it. And I think Alan Burrows is the kind of guy that would be up for doing that, with working with him. I see Danielle saying Paul Lambert being linked. He might be a better fit for Motherwell if they wanted to just kind of stick to the way they play just now. But if they're looking to change things up and be a bit more of an exciting team, then I would be going for a Sean Maloney if it was me, if I'm being honest.
Liam, what about yourself? I say Duncan Ferguson was a wild name that was thrown out there last week, and me and Russell talked about it, saying it'd definitely be a bit of a box office one, and you've got to imagine, going by his personality, he's probably the type of man that's going to do a lot of shouting and screaming. Would that style work anymore in modern day football? Would you get away with it in Scottish football? Because I think doing in England in particular, players like to be mollycoddled, the Jurgen Klopp philosophy of putting an arm around the player. Up here, I think we've still got a wee bit more grit. I think you can get a tune out of a player in the dressing room where you just shout at them. So could you imagine Duncan Ferguson kicking in the door at Fir Park at the dressing room?
I could, but I'm going to fling a wee curveball here, even from the curveballs. How about John Kennedy?
That was a name I will talk about that one. John Kennedy. I think it's the type of team that would probably, if he's got aspirations of being Celtic manager, which he clearly does, but he's nowhere near it. Especially after his audition last year. No. He's got to go away from the club for a long time and really cut his teeth. A team like Motherwell would be a good start, I think.
Either that or maybe the boys tracking how you had links with Peterborough was it in the summer?
Yeah. Well, we took him from Peterborough originally. He was a coach there.
Yeah, but did a team want to take him as their manager?
Aye, they did.
Yeah, they did, mate.
They
heard he's got a new software on that laptop that's doing wonders.
So how about a Lambert and Strachan co-manager deal?
Oh God, take the two of them, two for the price of one. What would you think of that one, Mark? Getting they two off the board, because how do you feel about them actually nowadays? Because obviously during the 10 in a row failure, there's a lot of stink around day two, and I think last season because it worked so well under Ange, things have seemed to the mood has calmed around them. But how are you feeling about the two of them now? Or they just backgrounds, decoration these days? They're just there,
Well, I'm always one for watching the backroom team when things aren't going well. I watched the backroom team last year when Van Bronckhorst at Rangers was going for a sticky patch, and his backroom staff are sitting on the bench, and you can always tell when a club's together when these managers speaking to players and things like that, and his backroom team are shoulder to shoulder with him. I've got a visual with John Kennedy when things are going really bad at Celtic, and he was sitting on his chair, looking disinterested, trying to distance himself from any decisions Neil Lennon was making. And at the time, I took that really personally. I took that like he was letting Celtic down. But maybe he was letting the fans know that things were happening that he wasn't happy with. Maybe there was that side of it as well, that he was trying to publicly let people know that in his own way that he was nothing to do with some of the shambles that was going on in the park. To be honest with you, I think it's going to take some sort of nuclear disaster to get John Kennedy peeled away from Lennoxtown. The guy, he's got a job for life. Whatever salary he's on, he'll probably be on par with maybe any manager in the SPFL with the top 3 or 4 teams. So he knows he's got that for 20 years if he wants it. To be honest with you, I was thinking Paul Lambert, but when David mentioned Sean Maloney, I've got to agree with him, because I think that boy only lasted something like 14 weeks at Hibs, and 4 of the weeks was a winter shutdown.
Aye,
so
that's right.
So if you talk maybe a quarter of his time was spent in a shutdown, and don't forget during that shutdown there was limitations because of COVID. So maybe his scouting department during that transfer window wasn't even able to be as active as he wanted them to be. I think, I'm going to be honest, I think the minute the guy stepped into them, he went from being the media sweetheart to the ex-Celtic player in the dugout that the media couldn't wait to sharpen their knives for. Yeah. And we've saw it many a times when there's ex-Celtic players that happen to be playing, they happen to be in charge of a team in Scotland. Our football Hartley gets shafted at Dundee. I thought the press he got was really poor. I think Sean Maloney would have been an excellent number 2 for Celtic. Number 1, at the time when I seen his name being linked in, I spat my tea out. And I was proven right. I didn't think he was up to the task. But I think when David mentioned him there, and I thought Paul Lambert, same as Danielle said, and to be quite honest with you, he would be quite. I don't know. He is a bit a dinosaur as well. I know he's only recently managed, but his tactics are quite dinosaurish. And I think if Sean Maloney was given 2 years by that guy Burrows, I trust that guy. I think he's the kind of guy that would give him I know he's just sacked a manager before the season started, right? So I'm not trying to sound ridiculous here, right? But he was sacked for a reason, because he's given the new guy who's going to come in, rather than sacking him in October and saying just get this mess over the line until January and we'll give you a couple of pounds to spend. He's given the guy who's going to come in an absolute opportunity to sign these players. I mean, I'm going to take a wee hazard a guess that the board has had questions whether they're going to start the season with that guy. Somebody's probably stood up for him and says, like, no, let's give this guy a chance. And then after that result, that guy just went, look, hands up, he's not good enough, let's move him on. So we'll give that guy his due. And I do agree with David again. I think if he was to come in, I think he did a good job. But I also think the board itself, that they're fan-owned, as long as it wasn't a complete disaster, I think they would give that guy a lot of time.
Aye.
How about one of his other managers, Tony Mowbray?
Tony Mowbray, he left Blackburn, didn't he? Is he went to another club, or is he just...
Right, no, he's still managerless. No, he's still clubless.
Oh, okay. Oh, can you imagine Big Mug? He did all right with Hibs when he was here, but know how we're just talking here about Graham Alexander. Patrick McGough comes in to highlight that Sligo Rovers, who defeated Motherwell in the last round, get scalped 5-1 of Viking Stavanger last night from Norway. Oh, brutal. So let's have a wee quick... It does, man. Because the Vikings. I know. I mean, I've heard of the Norwegian team, but still, man, that's a shocker. And especially, I said this to Russell last week, a few years ago when they did that petrol tank cup, as we like to call it. They did a cross-border thing where they brought in Welsh teams and Irish teams could play in it, and Colts teams. And Motherwell's Colts beat Sligo Rovers first team in it a few years ago. And then, you end up getting that the other week where the first team get absolutely ruined off of Sligo Rovers in the Conference League.
They were bad, Philip. I watched the second leg and they were awful. Really bad.
Yeah, it was
dreadful. I say with the manager situation, maybe that's them now getting a tune. Because who is the temporary manager just now in Motherwell? Who's took over it?
Oh, God, this is the guy's name of the paper. Kind of reddy, browny haired guy. Oh.
So, somebody in the chat will no doubt come in and say.
Somebody will Google it and kid on their smart.
Did have seen better teams down the Bombing Racecourse than Bombing Motherwell against Sligo.
Oh, it was dreadful. But one of the goals Sligo scored in the second leg was an absolute rasper, or a free kick, wasn't it, from distance?
Yeah, that was beauty. It was an absolute rocket.
I think looking at a glance here, we've got a bit of a mixed bag already, because I say this is the most unappealing game and probably the most, who knows what's going to happen really. So we've got 0-0 with Russell, 1-1 with Jono, 2-1 away win for David, Avs went 2-1 home win for Motherwell, Reegan's went 2-0 to St Johnstone, Conor McCann 1-0 St Johnstone, Terry 2-0 to Motherwell, a 1 each draw from Marc, Liam, you've went for a 1-0 victory to St Johnstone, Danielle 1 apiece, Scott 1 apiece, a 0-0 draw from Liam Greenlaw, 1-0 home win from Conor Carr, 1 each from Johnny Logue, 1 each from Ian, 1 each again, Marc Spowart, and another 1 each. A lot of draws there. So Stephen Thomson at the end. So Motherwell and St Johnstone, the general consensus is probably going to be a low scoring draw. Watch it now end about 5 each. But now we'll move on to Rangers and Kilmarnock. Yes, oh boy, there's one score in particular, and we're going to have a very good chuckle at on the old predictions. But let's quickly go over that one. So I'd imagine our chums across the city are probably a little bit down this week, and that could be a European hangover, as we say. Because that was, I've got to be honest, when that draw was made, I was like, who is this team now? No, you guys knowing me, even if I'm saying who the fuck have the Rangers have drawn, I had no idea who they were. But it turns out couldn't take them lightly, because I didn't watch their game through the week, but many people said that they were absolutely honking against that Belgian team.
Oh, me?
Sorry, on you go, Liam.
On you go.
I was just saying about, I'd seen a wee bit of it, and that left winger had Tavernier on toast all night. He was causing them absolute nightmares. It was quite, it was quite surprising actually, because I like you, I had no idea who they are, but like what it just so happens every now and again during the week, and it always seems to be before a Rangers game, I'll have just an influx of Rangers fans throughout my whole day. So I get to hear everything, what's been going on in their club and what's happening there. And they were saying like, this is going to be, we should beat them, no bother. But a couple of them are also saying that this team probably should have won the Belgian league. And one of the clients was explaining to me that they have a split system in the Belgian league as well that's even more mental than ours.
What?
Yeah, I mean, somebody will need to look it up, because he didn't quite understand it himself. So obviously, I'm giving you sort of a wee rundown of what he told me, and but like he was paraphrasing it, and I'm paraphrasing the paraphrase. But essentially, he said that they have a split system in the Belgian league as well, and they were sitting top. And because of the way their point systems start working in the fixtures, and it just turns absolutely ridiculous to follow, and they ended up coming second or third. But like if they had just stayed as a normal, like the Premier League in England works, they would have probably won it at a canter. But like they've got a dodgy split system. I think it is average points here. Sorry, mate.
Do you want me to explain? I remember doing the old Football Manager chestnut for it. The way they do it is you play every day. I think there's like 10 teams in the league. It's like 10 or 12 teams. You play every day home and away, so you get your 24 games. Then you split into 2.
Yep.
Then what they do is you get your average points against the lower league teams, and they take it. I think they take it off. Then you play you play the top half. Then
They said they deduct points off you or something, isn't it?
they take like a third of your points off or something. You play with 2/3 if you know what I mean.
Oh my god!
So if you beat the top half of the table in every single match you played them, technically it wouldn't be a fantastic thing for you if you would maybe drew the top 6 teams maybe sort of 4 or 5 times they could go against you, because you maybe get 1 point on average for the better teams, but on average, because they've took away the points for the lower league teams, you could end up in a right shitty situation, because that's mental, isn't it? That's crazy.
I was going to say, that's in Belgium. Was that no concocted in a hash bar in Amsterdam or something like that in the country next door? Jesus, like Neil Doncaster's got a bit of a reprieve now because of this. Like, it's like, what? Our split is the worst. How the fuck?
Can you imagine trying to sell that? You can imagine trying to sell that to the Scottish public, mate.
No, I would not have a clue about what the fuck. Because in America, I know they've got things like you can't get relegated in the MLS, and you can finish like 6th in the league and still end up winning the overall title, because it's like a playoff system then happens. It's like they've got an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference, then the top 8 from both go into like a knockout tournament and that. Well, Russell had mentioned that.
Angels only ever won 2 titles on points, and that was one for us and one in I think Australia, the other league, the one before it is just now. Every title he's won on the playoff system, which goes into that narrative that his teams always finish the season well. Well, I think that's what it comes for, because they must finish well, because they win playoffs and then a final playoff if they won with the strongest team at the end up. But so you could basically finish. It's like that. It's like the championship game in England. I mean, you could finish 10 points ahead of 6th place in the English Championship and lose promotion to that team on goal on a last minute penalty at Wembley. That's crazy.
Send you a link. Phil, explaining it to you.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Look at Airdrie in Queen's Park last year. To take, wasn't it? I think it was something mad like Airdrie finished 2nd and Queen's Park finished 4th, but Airdrie had like 24 points better off. Queen's Park better them in the playoff. They go up to
the cruelty in the playoffs. I've seen that before, especially in England. It's like usually the team that gets a bit of momentum at the end and sneaks in 6th place usually is the team that goes up. In English one, it's a bit of a cruel way, but I'll have a quick glance in the comments, see what people are saying about this one. We've got Paul Dye, he says Morelos is back, so 2-0 Kelly. Well done, Paul. Ryan Kelly says 2-0 tomorrow. He says they'll win 2-0 tomorrow. He hasn't specified who. He's keeping it open there. Let's see if we've got any other ones for their game. But yeah, I'll go through them in a minute. But as I say, it could be a bit of a European hangover for them. We'll wait and see. Now, Kelly last week, they took it was a last-minute goal that Ash Taylor scored to salvage them a point against Dundee United. Derek McInnes obviously went there. I said it last week. I get a funny feeling he's going to end up at Hibs this year. I think he just went to Kilmarnock because he needed to get back into a job. Obviously, Kelly being down in the 2nd tier at the time, they were one of the stronger teams. He ended up winning the title and only just won it. I mean, it was down to the second last game where they had to pip Arbroath to the title. So they only just got there. But I said it last week when I was speaking to Russell. I just feel like Lee Johnson's going to exact his. I can just see McInnes being a good fit there. But for the time being, he's got he's getting a bit of tune out of them, although you have still got Kyle Lafferty and stuff like that up front for them, so it's a bit like
Kyle Lafferty double at the weekend.
Kyle Lafferty double at the weekend, in his own net. That's what I think is more likely to happen.
2 cards, a yellow and a red.
Aye, that'll be the double. Aye, exactly.
Plus, do you just want a wee laugh about that game? Was it Wednesday night their game was?
Tuesday they played.
Tuesday was aye.
I think their star player that played for them came from Accrington Stanley.
I saw the
story that Logan Bhoycie was a goalkeeper, former Celtic number 2.
Aye.
Yes.
Was he the goalkeeper for them?
Apparently so, aye.
Right.
No.
Did I seen one of these things on the internet? They're like Twitter. You come pressing. They only sign players from like 2nd division Belgian clubs and all that. and go to Belgium and Second Division, buy their best players, and go to England's like third tier and buy all their best players and take them over.
I know that their budgets are very big at all. Somebody posted their budget the other day there. Don't get me wrong, it was a severe lack of knowledge because they were saying that some players on £200 a week and some on 20 grand. I didn't understand it. It was strange. But their wage bracket is really low. It's like below Aberdeen's. Aberdeen's players are on pretty good wages, but in European terms, and especially Champions League qualifiers at the stage they're at, seemed like they were pretty poorly equipped. But I didn't know that about Logan Bhoy. I'm surprised nobody picked it up.
Somebody said something. I saw something through the week on maybe another pod or somebody on Twitter said that Logan Bhoy. In fact, I don't know. I'll quickly take that one to VAR. See what Wikipedia is saying. Let's have a wee look. Wiki.
No, it's not Logan Bhoy. I've just checked. His last club was.
Is he maybe a coach there or something like that? Because it looks to me, looking at Wikipedia, like he's retired, like he's not played for us. So maybe he's like on a coaching team. But somebody said something on like another pod or Twitter that Logan Bhoy is at that club now. But yeah,
do you know play something like 20 odd games for Atletico Madrid?
What if he did?
Logan Bhoy, check out his Wikipedia someday, will you? If
I'm looking at now. No, Atletico Madrid. He played for Genk. The biggest teams he played for: Genk, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and us. But he played 61 games for Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Sorry, that's maybe his. That's still a high level, mate.
That is a very high level, yes.
I still think he was a key on that initial 5-1 game under Rodgers.
No, that was De Vries.
Doris De Vries.
Aye.
That is Logan Bhoy played got a few games under Ronnie, but it was very few. There was one game at Hamilton Accies that we drew. We lost a last minute goal. Accies, and he was in goals for that. I can remember that one, but I didn't play many games for us. But he was with us during Rodgers' first season. But Doris De Vries was ahead of him in the pecking order when De Vries came in. But no, it must be like a coach or something there. He's got to be.
Remember the big guy Fassan? He went to Kamal, remember when he left Celtic? Legal Fassan.
Yeah.
He played a couple of games, I think, just pre-season things like that. And you wonder what they do in training because. Even when it comes to like testimonial matches and pre-season, they don't get a fucking chance. They must be red rotten in training. They must stick it a mile. You know what I mean?
They must because but he only got a small number of games. But that's a lot of games say for Borussia Mönchengladbach. That's a Bundesliga team, a top Bundesliga team as well. You know, a good one.
I knew he played. I thought it for Atletico Madrid. I've maybe dreamt that, but that's still a high level. And I knew he played a number of games actually. He played something like. The season before he came to us, or maybe 2 seasons before, he played like a lot of games for a big team, like relatively. And I thought, wow. I was looking back to look at his record just after they left us. I went, he couldn't have been that bad.
Okay, well, we'll quickly go through. So I see that David's device is disconnected just now, so he'll be away reconfiguring
he's probably fucked off. He's probably away here.
So we've got Russell says 3-0 for Rangers. Jonathon says 3-0 Rangers. David's went for a 1-each draw. I've got a 2-1 victory for Rangers. Reegan 2-0 Rangers. Conor McCann 2-0. Terry a 4-0. Marc, you went 5-0 for Rangers. You think they're going to come out swinging. And the contrast to that is Liam Collow is went for a 2-0 win for the Killie. 2 weeks in a row now, he's went for a victory for the other team. Well done.
You'll say 38 losses to Rangers this year.
Stick to your guns, son. That's it. You're the the mast.
And as Mr. Logue said, there'll be 1 week I'll tell he's fucking tell you right.
Aye. Don't back down, mate. Double down. Danielle, she's got 2-0 home victory. Scott 2-1. Liam 4-1. Conor Carr 3-1. Johnny Logue 2-1. Ian's got a 2-2 draw. Marc Spowart's got a 3-0 win, and Stephen Thomson's got a 3-1 win. So yeah, pretty resounding for Rangers home victory. 1 away victory, Mr. Collow, and a few draws in there as well. Right, so now we move on to the one that, well, obviously here for the big one, Ross County and Celtic up at Dingwall. So we had a bit of a ding-dong battle, to say the least, last year. Quite a famous game, the old Tony Ralston goal in the 97th minute. But guys, yeah, what are we expecting with this one? Because County last week, they lost narrowly to Hearts. But I can't really say that I saw much of that one. I say they were 2-0 down from what I saw, and they scored quite a late goal. But yeah, obviously we came out with a 2-0 victory against Aberdeen. We looked pretty comfortable. I mean, we've spent quite a lot talking about it this week. But yeah, tomorrow, few injury concerns as well. But also, Mark, I seen you saying something earlier on. Apparently it's confirmed that Starfelt is available for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's a boost for Celtic. You know, I've seen folks saying that you can't just fling him into the starting lineup. I'm of the opinion that if a player's been training and he's available for the bench, he's available to play. That's just my opinion. So sometimes players come onto the bench and they don't feature at all, and that just tells you the managers are just trying to get them back into the match day swing of things again. But for me, he starts. I know Welsh scored a goal last week, and it's going to just taint the recency bias by people. But his performance after that, I mean, I counted it 2 or 3 occasions. In fact, the first half swung when he let somebody in. He didn't look over his shoulder and let somebody in, and then Celtic eventually cleared the ball. But see, after that, Aberdeen took the rest of the first half. They just gave him a wee bit of encouragement. So I think you've got to play Starfelt. I tipped Celtic for a 2-1 win, not because I'm trying to scare people by thinking it's going to be a close game. Ross County is a hard place to go to. I mean, I know we played a wonder game when Shane Duffy scored for us. We won 5-0, but to be honest with you, we don't play well up at these games, up at these stadiums. That they tend to be sluggish, and it's a wee pitch which doesn't suit our wingers. I think we'll go 2-0 up, and then they'll get a goal back and
a wee bit nervy.
A wee bit nervy, and I would like to see Giakoumakis, Abada, and Jota and Maida come on, and I'd like to see. I'm not just saying this for people to moan at me, but I think Ralston should be starting in order.
Fair shout, man. Fair shout. Cause I think we've said before, like when it comes to the Ralston Juranovic thing, both of them give us, like, you know, they're quality players for different reasons. I don't think there's really a right or a wrong answer. So when people say, when you pick Ralston, they think you're being negative or something, and it's like just because, you know, we've got a Croatian international, and it's like, yeah, but Ralston does give us a lot. I mean, I've turned so much on Ralston where it's like, a year ago, the idea of him being the starting right back, I was like, get out of here. No chance he signed that year extension. I think most of us had. I don't think there's many fans that could honestly put their hand up and go, I always tipped him to do well. It's like he's had a massive transformation. He proved a lot of fans wrong, and we're happy to be proved wrong. That's the thing. You know, we're actually happy for that. So I don't think there's... I think Ralston playing the more is a good shout. Because again, Ross County will be a physical side. I know they've not got Reegan Charles Cook anymore, because he would play as a left forward. I think he was a left forward cutting in, isn't he? So it's like he will, you know, they'll still provide a physical threat to us. So Ralston would stand up to that, definitely.
Aye, I think he would. I think he would. He also provides that that bit of strength going forward. And see, when you want somebody to bounce to the byline and cross it in, I'm not just talking about like certain goals we scored last season, and I'm just imaging him scoring these, putting these good balls in. He just gets in these positions so often. The end product isn't always amazing. The one thing he does, it creates space for other players when he's dragging defenders wide, and he's just a nuisance to play against. And I watch him quite closely because I'm a really big fan of the guy, so I watch him closely. I give him a lot more leeway and I do a lot of players, so there's bias on my side, but I don't know, I just think he can provide us with a wee bit of physicality going forward as well, because see his upper body strength. He can get by a player and hold them off and just hook that leg round and cross it into the box. And as I say, I don't think Abada is more skillful than Ralston, clearly. Yeah. But getting by a player and run along the byline isn't his strength, you know what I mean? And I think I think that Abada kind of crosses the ball too early sometimes. A bit like Juranovic, just kind of wait to cross the ball. Yeah. I think they run out of ideas sometimes, but I think Abada should be starting on the right. I actually think Abada and Ralston make a good team. See, on the right hand side, I thought Cairney and Scott Sinclair made an amazing team. And I also they were brilliant, and I also felt Lustig, his form dropped with age, but his form also dropped when James Forrest's form dropped. I thought James Forrest and Lustig were a great partnership. Some players just work together. And I thought it's the same way Sinclair and Tierney just complemented each other, and I feel like it's the same way with Abada and Ralston. I think the two of them they're on a similar wavelength. You know what I mean? Abada's more than happy for Ralston to overlap him, cut inside, make the run, make space for Abada, make space for what would be Roderick back then. And I think, for me, it's a positive thing. No, it's a good thing we're saying A or B, because both players I think are at a really good level. But if you're arguing which player's better rather than what player's just a better option, then I think that's a great idea.
Listen, say they both bring different qualities. Now, Liam, I'll come to you here because a minute ago, Marc mentioned, talked about that victory up at Dingwall when Shane Duffy scored that goal. Remember the header? Fun fact, or it's not really fun, but know how obviously we talk about the Christopher Julian injury, the one we clad the post. One that everyone forgets is in that game, Shane Duffy actually injured Christopher Julian for a few months before the actual big injury took him out. When he scored that header at the corner, he basically decided, whoever's getting in my way, get the fuck out of my way. And he barged right into Christopher Julian's lower back and gave him a back injury. That set the tone for things to come that season, I think, and what we were going to see under Shane Duffy. But, and speaking of injuries as well, big news today as well, Rio Hitate's going to be out tomorrow. So, Liam, who do you start in that midfield position? With Hitate being out, who you going for?
I'm going to go with David Turnbull. It just seems like a more natural swap, like a natural swap to swap. But compared to, say, Aaron Moy, but that way in a sense, I would say him and Matt O'Reilly are sort of two similar type of players in that number 10 role. So that way it's swirling between Moy and giving Moy's first full competitive date. I know he made his debut last week, but his first start. So that's the way I'm swinging with Moy.
Okay, David's rejoined us. He just came swinging back in there. Connection problems, David?
Sorry, I had a phone call I couldn't have to take from a family member, so I had to drop out.
That's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. So we'll just talk about Ross County Celtic. We'll talk about the different injuries, issues and stuff like that. So obviously we've got news that Starfelt's back is fit anyway for tomorrow, and Hitate's dropping out. So Marc's answered the question on the Starfelt one, and I've went to Liam on the Hitate thing. So David, I'll give you a double barrel one here, mate. For that defense or that midfield position and centre back position, who do you lean towards starting? Would you bring Starfelt straight back in, and how would you solve a problem like Hitate being missing?
Would I bring Starfelt straight back in? I don't know, because he's not played a single bit of pre-season. I don't know how fit he is. I don't know if it's is it a game we really want to be just throwing him straight back in? I don't think. I know obviously you're not a fan of Stephen Welsh, Marc, but I don't think he's done anything particular to suggest he should be dropped immediately, just because Starfelt is obviously available. Maybe depending on how the game's going, you could maybe bring Starfelt on to give him a run out if we're comfortably winning and we don't look like we're under any kind of threat, just to see where he's at. But I'd probably stick with Welsh just now, just out of maybe caution, just a player that's not really kicked the ball for a few weeks.
Dan Breen saying here, Jens. Well, he says Jens at some point, but do you think Jens might be in with a shout of getting a start tomorrow? It'll be a sub appearance at best for him.
Yeah, like I said, I can't see. I just don't think Stephen Welsh has done anything to suggest that he would be dropped right now. He's scoring a goal, comfortable enough. So I would probably, for me, I would just stick with Welsh just now. And if we're going to be giving one of the other centre backs a run out, I'd like to just get Starfelt back and see what his partnerships is with the Carter Vickers. As for the midfield, I'd be Turnbull all day. To be fair, I can't think of anybody else that you'd want to swap Hitate with right now. Aaron Moy's still got that caravan on his back by the looks of it from the last game. Ideguchi isn't fit as far as I'm aware, is he? I don't think he's fit.
Yeah, he's injured.
It's just a gash in his leg.
Suck up, mate. But nah, I mean, No, but even if Eddie fit, then he's not getting ahead of Turnbull just now for me.
No.
So yeah, it'll be Turnbull and attack. Turnbull and O'Reilly. Then it begs the question: when we had that whole can Rogic and Turnbull play in the same team? Are we going to have a similar conversation with those two? I don't know. I think Turnbull will slot straight back in, no bother. So yeah, I'd be going with Turnbull.
I'll tell you, looking at the comments, guys, it's very mixed as well. Because the other great debates, I've seen a lot of people talk about GG to start tomorrow, and a lot of people saying Kyogo to start tomorrow. It's very, very mixed. So I think that's Marc, you've said you want Giakoumakis to start tomorrow with Abada and Jota. I'm the same. I'm leaning towards. I would go with Giakoumakis for that physicality, but see, there are people in the chat that are saying, he's hard to mark Kyogo. So it's like, again, it's one of those ones where I think we win either way in terms of I think both have got bring qualities to different types of qualities, but there's no really any wrong answer.
I would say in an ideal world, how about we do a 4-4-2 with the two of them up top?
Oh, people are coming after you with pitchforks like that. Ange only plays one way, Liam Collow, don't you know? There was games last season where they did put Kyogo out wide, and there was somebody wasn't effective, but there was
two of them through the middle.
Aye, but yeah.
Dinosaur tactics, absolute dinosaur tactics.
Mike Bassett 4-4-2.
I'll tell you something. Celtic should always play with two strikers. I don't care which popular and which famous. I think Celtic play a certain way of football, brand of football, and I don't care. I mean, it doesn't need to be two players sitting 15 yards for goal. Well, see when we played John Hartson wasn't always just standing in the penalty box. He wasn't very mobile, John Hartson, but what he did there was stand in areas of the park that really so useful. I mean, he'd always be there for a high ball. He would always be there to cushion the ball down and create space for the overlaps, create space for the striker in behind him. And just quickly on the reason why I don't want to start Kyogo tomorrow. Well, Kyogo is outstanding. If he starts tomorrow, I'll be happy. I'm not saying that I'm going to be happy, but see that we spoke about this yesterday on the show. Well, I wasn't on the show, but it was mentioned. Ross County will hold a line. I mean, they're not going to be sitting letting 20-30 yards of space in behind their centre backs. Believe you me. So the thought of Kyogo getting space to run in behind that's going to be very limited. We need somebody who's got the strength to run through that brick wall, and we need somebody who's going to be an aerial threat for when Jota, Abada, Maida, they get to the byline and get crosses in. We need somebody that's going to be physically able to brush aside their big, tall centre backs and their strong midfielders who are going to come back and defend. Kyogo he's an utter nuisance, plus he's got bags of ability. I mean, I love the guy. I mean, if he starts tomorrow, I certainly won't be complaining, but all I'm saying is you've got to play the game ahead of you, and I think looking at the space has got to be behind that line you're going to need somebody who's going to be able to get through that, you know what I mean? I don't run through the wall at Wreck-It Ralph. I mean, it's somebody who's going to be able to power his way through a defence. And Giakoumakis, they call him Chaos because he strikes on the first bit of chaos in that 6-yard line. He's there. I think Kyogo is a different type of striker. Kyogo needs to be in the game for a wee bit. He normally needs at least one or two sitters before he actually scores one. But he's that good at creating chances for himself that he'll make 6 chances a match. That's how good the guy is. But I'm talking about Giakoumakis, when things are going shaky and we're not settling into matches, he's just got the ability just to be on top of a defender like that. One touch and it's in the back of the net. And I think I play the game in front of you, and I think I'm going to be surprised tomorrow if Ange picks Giakoumakis, because I think if he's got these two players fit, I think you might see a slight almost rotation by Ange. Kyogo was poor against Aberdeen, but that's not why he came off the park. I think no matter how Kyogo's game was going on Sunday last week, Giakoumakis was always going to get minutes, and that's an effort Ange has made to keep the two of them sharp, keep the two of them switched on at all times, because it's not the case nowadays where Celtic the ball goes up in 70 minutes and there's Rogic coming off and there's Turnbull coming off. Subs are getting made for actual tactical reasons, for long term reasons. You know, Ange doesn't just make decisions for the sake of it, or for giving guys minutes just to get them a win bonus. Most of the time he's bringing players on, it's to win a match, or to see a match out, or he's thinking about the next match we're playing. And I think that's exactly why you're seeing guys that Turnbull getting decent game minutes from the bench, guys like Jack and Marcus getting game time for the bench, rather than getting the last 6 minutes that we used to see some strikers in the past getting. He's getting 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's to keep them sharp. So I think this might be Ange's way of keeping the players who he sees are going to be on a rotation basis, slightly keeping them switched on. And I think that sub was also, he missed some pre-season there because he's Buffy's wee baby. But I think Andrew's also seen it as a way to get some minutes under his belt for the potential of starting this weekend.
Yeah, that's a good shout, because I'm also looking at the way Polymorphous says that GG was always going to get 20-30 minutes, but another quiet game for Kyogo, and it's GG starting the next 2 games. Because the game after this is Kilmarnock at Rugby Park, plastic pitch, and he says 2 games of Kyogo getting the 30 minutes. So there's a few people agreeing with that one, Mark, because it's no good just throwing them on for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes at the end of the game. You know, he's given them a substantial bit of time. So that's going to only work massively in our benefit going forward. So you can see what Ange is doing there. But say tomorrow, I think whatever one of them starts, it'll be a positive either way. And Ross County will have their hands full for different reasons. But we'll now have a wee glance at the predictions. I would be very surprised if anybody's picked a draw or a Celtic loss here, for shame. So Russell has got a 3-1 victory for us. Jonathon, 3-1 victory. David, a 2-0 win. I've went 3-0. Reegan 2-1, Conor McCann 3-0, Terry 3-1, Marc, you've went 2-1, Liam Collow 3-0, Danielle, it's a 2-0, Scott 3-0, Liam Greenlaw 3-0, Conor Carr another 3-0, John 4-0, 2-1 from Ian, Marc Spowart 2-0, and Stephen Thomson a 2-0 victory as well. So yeah, as you would expect on a Celtic podcast, it's Celtic wins all round from the team. So yeah, I'll be hoping to pick up some more points in my fucking first week's effort anyway. 2 points to my name. Jesus.
I'll find a good one here. Do you ever talk about Starfield earlier? If he starts, he'll score tomorrow. I've got a funny
is this
feeling
it?
There we go. This is first goal.
Right, I will quickly. I'll go on old William Hill here, and we'll do a quick accumulus again, folks. Remember, gamble responsibly. But let's take a look at the obscene odds of somebody score. So let's go with Liam Collow's tonight. God, this is going to be bonkers because you've got a Kilmarnock victory. This is going to be obscene. But anyway, I shall go on.
That's if he starts, of course.
Right, I need to try and get used to this. I've not been on this website in so long. Let's see if I can navigate it. And we'll have a wee look. So, football. Because I think last week when we done it, it was something ridiculous. Like, if Russell put on like 18 pence, he'd win like £500,000. It's like, there's a reason why you would win that much money, because it's that obscene that it's going to come in. Let's see. So Rangers, Kelly, Ross County, Celtic. That's there. Can they not just divide it up into like, you know, the leagues instead of them all bundled in together? Yeah, it's going to take a wee while.
Well, I need to get my wife to sponsor this. That's my wife does. She's a bookie.
Okay.
I need her to sponsor this Bookie Basher on a Friday.
Oh Jesus, Bookie Basher.
Something.
I say no Bookie Bashing, mate, no chance. I say don't listen to me. That's why we're going to go with Liam's scores tonight. If I mean right away.
Last week, it's very, very hard to get a score prediction right. See if you get one score prediction right for a tenner, you've got a free weekend. See last week, I mean, there must have been about 10 results for the podcast that were spot on. So
that's true.
Actually, technically, I got Hearts 2-1. I mean, I reckon you've probably been about 8s, 10s to 1 on 10 to 1 on that. You know what I mean? I'd have to see the exact price on that, but some of them. I mean, I think John, he get 3 results correct, didn't he? I think
he did. He got 3. Right? Let me have a look. No, you get 2. So you get that one bang on 2-0, that one 1-1, and then he got a point for getting the right outcome, just on the right scoreline, because that's how it's highlighted. The green ones are bang on the money, and the yellow ones
see a double, mate. See 2 correct scores for a double for a tenner. That's a lot of money. That's a hell of a lot of money. So we're doing no bad, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I think didn't I get 2 bang on as well?
You did. You got 2-1 Hearts Ross County, and you got 1-1 Kilmarnock Dundee United, and then you got a point for Celtic beating Aberdeen, and a point for Hibs beating St Johnstone. There you go. William Hill's website's too much to navigate and figure out. It's an absolute jungle on there. So do you know what? As I say, there's a reason why the odds are so obscene on it, but maybe afterwards I'll maybe tweet what it came out at just for the banter. But yeah, remember, folks, gamble responsibly. I say don't need this, take us seriously. We're also having a bit of fun with it anyway. But yeah,
do you remember quickly before you go? Do you remember one of my dad's pals, Jai? He always mentions this. I think it was about maybe 20 years ago now. We're showing our age now, but you remember Larson scored something like 3 hat-tricks in 4 matches, and then the 4th match, his odds for a hat-trick was like 2-1. And that's a disgustingly low price for a player to get a hat-trick at any level, but it was as stupid as that, you know what I mean? 2-1 it was, and yeah, you remember that? He's a gambling on it back then, but I
was about 3 years old back then.
rub it in. I'm 37 tomorrow.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the youth nowadays. But just something, I want to gear up the fact that I seen Celtic playing a European final and watching it Larson and the rest of it for nothing.
It's true.
So I'm glad they're a bit older than you, mate. To be honest, when you can have Pokemon cards and fucking PlayStation, I'll live with that memory, mate.
I just realised as well, David, with the way the screen was laid out tonight, your handsome chops were hidden behind the comments all night. Your face was hidden there.
Face for the radio,
about that,
face for the radio.
Face for the radio. Where you
so
go.
Just hiding the good-looking guys at the way, David. So that's what it is, mate.
I was midway through the show and I was like, oh no, I don't know if there's a way to move the comments to like another part of the screen, but then it would cover up something else. So, but yeah, we'll figure all that stuff out. But anyway, yeah, folks, that wraps up tonight's show. We've went for a good hour and a half, so that's a wee SPFL preview show of Celtic Roscoe. So hopefully Celtic can get the job done tomorrow. We continue a good start to the season. And tomorrow, I believe that obviously there will be post-match pitch as well. Sunday, we'll have the Sunday Blair with Reegan and with Marc and another perhaps as well. We'll obviously sort that as we get closer to it. And in terms of next week, I will be back on hosting for a few days. I'm taking a well-deserved break. I'm going to go enjoy my birthday celebrations for the weekend as well. But I will be back on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week doing Nostalgia. We're going to do the 2016-17 Brendan Rodgers first season. Mr. Logue, you free for that at all?
What day did you say, mate?
It'll either be Tuesday or Wednesday. It's not cut and dry yet. I'll need to speak to Russell and see what the schedule says. No worries. Cool, mate. We'll sort all that later on anyway. But yeah, that's us for tonight. So anything else that any of you guys want to say for the evening before we head, or are we all good?
Have a nice
one thing, I can a wee preview if I do come on the Nostalgia for some people, just in case I don't come on. And that was a season that that was the Dembele. Did he score the hat trick that year?
In that celebration.
Yeah, that's the one, right? So we were working in the barber shop. This is before I had my own place, and one of the barbers was a big Celtic fan. The other boy wasn't interested in football whatsoever. So we had just the wee iPhone set up and we're on Sky Go watching the game, and Davey was cutting his clients there and oblivious to the fact that we were all just huddled around this wee phone. I mean, the first goal went on. When the first goal went in, we just fucking went mental. We screamed like a huge roar, and we gave Davey such a fright that he just went right up the boys' head. He went, "Fucking hell, boys!" Luckily, the guy was getting. No, I swear. Luckily, it was fixable, but we got the biggest fright. Luckily, he just had to take it. He had to take it up a lot higher and a lot tighter than he wanted. But we were like, "Oh, sorry." So there's a wee preview of what might come. What might come if I do manage to get on next week.
I'll keep you in the loop for that one.
To be fair, that day I think it was a pub in Troon that day, and that way I think when Dembele got the first one.
Dembele scored the first. It was a header at a corner. Wow, there's a rarity. Aye.
Yeah, but I mean, that one, I was in with like me, two guys were Celtic fans. Us two got mental. The whole pub just looked to us. We never realised they were all Rangers.
You've
just
That's
got
how
three
they
guys.
look with it all.
That was class, you know what I mean? And I
Oh,
remember
brilliant.
the Green Brigade had set up these green, white and orange T-shirts for
They did,
that section
aye.
to wear, so that the full corner that day would just be like a big tricolour at the corner. That was class. And I think I saw the videos in my old phone of that match, and God, what was that 6 years ago? God,
Aye,
that
time's
was
flying.
Easily.
I know.
Right.
The closing
Big
comments,
Brank
right?
Brendan.
Gary Brown has said, Phil, give Russell his job back. Fuck's sake, it was only a hangover. Don't worry, Russell will be back. I'm just standing in for the time being. He's had a busy week, so don't worry. The plan is that he'll be back over the weekend doing a PMP, maybe a fan cam live, and then Monday Club with Jono. So don't worry about that.
No.
The bus he has. Besides, McGinlay bus doesn't really work, so my name doesn't fit with it anyway, so I can't take over it. I'm just a temporary stand-in most of this week. So anyway, we're out of here, folks. It's been a pleasure tonight, and I say for tomorrow, come on, Celtic, please get the job done up at Dingwall, and we shall catch you all later. Ciao.
Some guys comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.